Okay, now we are in the capacitors, talking about the capacitors. In the earlier class, we understood what is a capacitor, and there we were talking about a conductor. The practical application of the conductor is to store the charges on it. Charges on the conductor. And so one of the important use with the conductor is we can store the charges on the conductor. And already we came to know there is a limit for storing the charges in the conductor. Here, what happens if we give more amount of charge to the conductor? We know that if you are using a conductor and if it is isolated from the surroundings, that means it is surrounded by any insulator or dielectric. And if we give the more amount of charge to it, we already said that the charges will be leaked to the surroundings. So here, because it is a dielectric here, what happens? The additional charge given to it ionizes the dielectric, and thereby the charges will be leaked to the surroundings, and so thereby we cannot store the more amount of charge in the conductor. So that's why we have devised capacitors to store the more amount of charge. And we know the applications and uses of it. In fans you can see we will be calling it as a condenser. They will be calling in the name of a condenser. That is nothing but a capacitor. And not only that, wherever if you want to store the charges quickly and release the charges quickly, then we can use the capacitors. During the flashlights of the camera, in the flashlights of the camera, there we need the capacitors. And in some applications, the charges will be released slowly also. So in both the manner we can use these capacitors when it is to be released quickly or to be charged quickly, or when it is to be released slowly, we can use these capacitors. And we come to know here for a conductor the potential can be raised, and it depends upon the charge given. So Q is proportional to V, and we come to know Q is equal to CV and C is equal to Q by V. And this will be calling as, this is called as the capacitance of a capacitor, or of a conductor. So capacitance of a conductor is the ratio of the charge to the potential raised. So C is equal to Q by V, and the units are given as the farad. And this is comparatively a larger unit, so that we go with microfarads and picofarad. 1 microfarad is 10 power minus 6 micro, 10 power minus 6 farad, and pico, it is 10 power minus 12 farad. This is the conversion for this. And then we talked about the capacity of a spherical conductor. Capacity of a spherical conductor whose radius is r. So there we come to know capacity of a spherical conductor is C is equal to 4 pi epsilon naught r. C is equal to 4 pi epsilon naught r. And from here we come to know, from this expression, C is directly proportional to r. That means it depends upon the size of the conductor. So C is proportional to R. So from this we can, so C1 is proportional to R1 if it is of different radius, and C2 proportional to R2. And so there we can draw the expression C1 by C2 is equal to R1 by R2. Okay, so now from this we have drawn expression here C1 by C2 is equal to R1 by R2. And here we can discuss about, we can go with a very good example here, or a very good numerical. What is the capacity of earth? Capacity of the earth. Earth is a huge conductor, as you know that this Earth is a huge conductor, and if it is a conductor, certainly it can hold some the charge given to it. So if you are giving some charge, what will be its capacity? What is the capacity of the Earth? So here you can directly you can just relate this problem to this expression what we have derived here. So this is a spherical conductor whose radius is r, and we found that the capacity of this spherical conductor is 4 pi epsilon naught r, and this is similar to this. So this is considered as a spherical conductor whose radius is r. So if it is r, you can write the expression C is equal to 4 pi epsilon naught r. And we know 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is 9 into 10 to the power of 9. So 4 pi epsilon naught is equal to 1 by 9 into 10 to the power of 9. So instead of this 4 pi epsilon naught, it is, we can write it as 9 into 10 to the power of, it is 4 pi epsilon naught 1 by 10 to the power of 9. So 1 by 9 into 10 to the power of 9 into radius of the Earth. So what is the radius of the Earth? It is C is equal 1 by 9 into 10 to the power of 9, and the radius of the Earth is 6.4 into 10 to the power of 6 meter. So we can take it as approximately 6 into 10 to the power of 6. So 6 into 10 to the power of 6 meter. So this is an SI unit. But if we take this, it means that we are doing the problem in SI, and this is in meter. So your answer will be in farad. So you are going to get here it as 711 into 10 to the power of minus 6 farad. So it will be equal to 711 microfarad. So what is the capacity of Earth? So capacity of Earth is 711 microfarad. So from this you can understand, for such a huge body, Earth, very huge body having a bigger radius, so there of the huge size, its capacity is still it is 711 microfarads. Okay, so like this we can find out the capacity of the Earth here. Okay, now pause the video and take the screenshot. So from that problem we came to know how to calculate the capacity of a spherical conductor, and we have just found the capacity of a huge spherical body, that is Earth. There we have observed that for that much huge spherical body, it is still in microfarads. Okay, right. Now coming to energy stored in a conductor. Energy stored in a conductor. This is a charged conductor. Energy stored in a charged conductor. Okay. So here we want to find the energy stored in the charged conductor. How can we go with finding out how the energy will be stored in a charged conductor? Means here it is a charged conductor. It is a charged conductor. Let it be a conductor here. And if you do some, if you just give some charge to it, the charge resides on the surface. And if you want to add some more charges to it, if you are going to add some charge to the, already it is having some charged conductor, you have to do some work. So some work is done to just make the charges for the conductor to accumulate. So now some work is to be done. Whatever the work we are doing, it will be stored in the form of energy in this conductor, and we will be calling that energy as potential energy. Potential energy, and this energy we are going to calculate that. We are going to find out how much energy it will be stored. Okay, so how to find out this energy stored in the conductor here. So now let us think here, a conductor is there. It will be having such certain capacity, and the capacity be C. And if you want to raise its potential to V naught, just assuming V naught, we have to give the charge Q naught to it. Okay, so if for a capacitor, for a conductor whose capacitance is C, to raise its potential to V naught, we are going to charge it to Q naught. So from this expression Q is equal to C, we are already keeping this in mind. So V is equal to Q by C. So we can write the expression here using this V naught, Q naught and C. It is V naught is equal to Q naught by C. Okay, now if you want to, if you are giving now if you are going to give the charge Q to it, if you are going to give the charge Q to it, that means we are going to raise its potential to V, to this conductor already having some charge Q naught on it. So now you are going to give some charge Q to it, that means its potential is raised to V. So here we can write the expression as V is equal to Q by C. Okay, now suppose if you are having conductor here, the same conductor here, I am making it diagram again here to make you to understand. Now I want to increase the charge from 0 to Q naught. For this conductor, I am going to make the charges to the body from 0, from neutral, from 0, from nil to Q naught. So for giving this, what I am going to do is, I am just giving the charges with the small quantities. So here, the small dq is given. So small amount of charge dq is given. For just giving this charge dq here, what you call it as, some small amount of work is done. Let this be dw. So to raise its potential to V, now just we are going to do it for raise it to potential V here. So now we can write as, already you know the formula, W is equal to VQ. Using this and applying it to this, dW is equal to V dQ. Okay, dW is equal to V dQ. And already we know here from this, V is equal to Q by C, dW is equal to Q by C dQ. Okay, so now our aim is to give the charge from 0 to Q naught in small amounts in dq, and again some more dq and some more dq, like that up to Q naught. That means we are just doing the work in small amounts, dw, small work, small work, small work. So now if you want to get the work here, the total work, we have to integrate all the small amounts of work. So integrating the small amounts of work, that means adding the small amounts of work. So dW. So how we are doing the work? For giving the charges from 0 to Q naught. So the total work is the integral of dW from 0 to Q naught here. So here it is, we can write this as 0 to Q naught dW. dW is how much we got it here. So dW is Q by C dQ. So now we got it as W is equal to integral of from 0 to Q naught Q by C dQ. And here C is a constant, just bringing it out. W is equal to 1 by C, integral of 0 to Q naught Q dQ. It is just like integral of x dx. It is x to the power of n plus 1 by n plus 1. So just applying it to it, W is equal to 1 by C, Q to the power of 1 plus 1, 2, by 1 plus 1, 2. And 0 to Q naught is there, so the limits will be applied here. From the lower limit is 0, the upper limit is Q naught. So W is equal to 1 by C This 2 is also constant. Pull it out. 1 by 2. And substituting the upper limit and lower limit, it is Q naught square minus 0 square. So it is W is equal to 1 by 2 C Q naught square. That means we got the relation as W is equal to Q square Q naught square by 2C. And here already we told that the work done is stored in the form of a potential. So U is equal to Q naught square by 2C. So now we got the energy in this expression in the form of charge and capacity of a conductor. The capacity of conductor is C, and what the total charge we have provided? Q naught. So the energy stored in the conductor is U is equal to Q naught square by 2C, whose capacity is C. Right. So just altering this expression into the form of V and so on. So already you know that from this expression here, V naught is equal to Q naught by C. So Q naught is equal to C by V naught. So we can write this as, instead of Q naught square, C square by V naught square by 2C. So this becomes C square by V naught square 2C. So this cancels, so it is C by V naught square. So this expression now is in the form of capacitance and the potential, whatever it is raised. And just like this, we can convert the expression to whatever we require using this relation U is equal to Q naught square by 2C. So this U is equal to Q naught square by 2C. So this is, when we are going to get this, if you are going to charge it to Q naught, whose capacitance is C. Suppose if you are charging it to Q, U is equal to Q square by 2C. So this is the energy stored in a charged conductor. In whatever form you want, you can convert it using this relation V naught is equal to Q naught by C or V is equal to Q by C. Okay. Suppose if you want to change it into V, instead of V, write Q by C. Just substitute that. That means this will be completely changed to potential and capacitance. So like that you can find out the potential energy. Okay. So here, this is the expression here. So just go through this, pause the video and take the screenshot of this. Okay. We have learned, or we have derived an expression for finding out the energy of a capacitor. Energy stored in a charged conductor. Energy stored in a charged conductor. And as you know that how the energy is stored in a charged conductor means, when we are doing some work to make the charges onto this conductor, then that work done is stored in the form of a potential energy, and we have derived the expression U is equal to Q square by 2C. We have derived the expression U is equal to Q square by 2C, where C is the capacitance of the conductor and Q is the charge given to it. And using the formula V is equal to Q by C, we can convert this into half CV square. From this half Q square by C, this is the actual what we have derived. From this we can derive this or we can get this. That means if you are having in a problem, if you are given with charge and the potential, charge and the capacitance, then you can find the potential energy. If you are given the capacitance and the potential, you can find the potential energy. If you are given the charge and the potential raised, you can find out the potential energy just by keeping in the mind U is equal to Q square by 2C. And our next concept is redistribution of charges. Redistribution of charges. Already you know a concept, that is, Suppose if we are having two beakers which are connected at the bottom, and suppose if it is having the level of water up to here and the level of water up to here in this, and if you open the tap here, the water will flow from, certainly the water will flow from one container to the other container because the levels are different. Up to when this flow will take place means until both the containers attain the same level, That means until they attain the same level, here, the water will flow. The same concept we can apply here for the if the two charged bodies are connected. Suppose here, let us think we are having the two spherical conductors, and its radius is R1 and its radius is R2. And let us think its capacity is C1, its capacity is C2. Capacities will vary because as the dimensions has changed, already you know the capacitance will vary. And initially it is given some charge Q1 and it is given the charge Q2. So charges are different and the radius are different. As the radius are changed, certainly the capacitance also will change. Now if these two are connected by means of a conductor, so now what happens? The redistribution of charges will take place. So when the charges are moving during this process, here up to what extent the charges will flow means until their potentials are same. That means both attains the same potential. That means you can write like this. So now it has potential V and it is also having the same potential V. Even though the same concept we can understand, we can copy it from here. You can understand from this. These are connected. Now this will not change, radius will not change, and the capacitance also will not change. The capacitance of the conductor will not change as the dimensions has not changed. So now suddenly the charges will change. This Q1 we are going to get a new charge on this body now, and you can find a new amount of charge on this body now. That is, you can make it as Q1 dash, and this Q2 as Q2 dash. You can make it like this. So from this, we want an expression here. What is the new amount of charge after redistribution on this body, and what is the new amount of charge on this body here after redistribution, and what is the common potential after redistribution. Okay, so initially the charges are Q1 and Q2. So we can write that net charge is equal to Q1 plus Q2. This is the net charge here. And now here, so now here the new charge on this, it always depends upon the capacitance. The charge depends upon the capacitance here. Always, whether it is Q1 or Q2 or Q3, whatever it is, it depends upon the capacitance. So now it is Q1 dash is proportional to C1 and Q2 dash is proportional to C2. And from this we can write this as Q1 by Q2, Q1 dash by Q2 dash is equal to C1 by C2. And because these are spherical conductor here, you know the capacitance is 4 pi epsilon naught, depends upon the radius, and C depends upon the radius. So because C depends upon the radius, is C1 by C2 is equal to R1 by R2. So can I write here R1 by R2. So now we got an expression here, a good expression for our applications. So Q1 dash, the new charge on this, the new amount of charge on this, and the new amount of charge Q2 dash is equal to C1 by C2, and that is equal to R1 by R2. So now, what is the new amount of charge? How can I write? So this Q1 dash is equal to, if you are writing in terms of the capacitance, it is C1 by C1 plus C2 into net charge. Q1 dash is equal to C1 by C1 plus C2 net charge. If you are writing in terms of radius, it is R1 by R1 plus R2 into net charge. And this, in the similar manner, write as Q2 dash is equal to, here it is Q1 dash is C1, Q2 dash is C2. You can remember it easily like this: C1 plus C2 into net charge, and Q2 dash is equal to R2 by R1 plus R2 into net charge. So like this you can remember. And one thing is remaining. It is, what is the potential? After that we told that the same potential will be on both the bodies. So what will means V is equal to net charge. It is Q1 plus Q2 and the total capacitance C1 plus C2. By using this expression we can find the common potential. We call this as the common potential. Okay. So in this redistribution of charges, we understood that if the two charged spheres are there, if the two charged conductors are there, spherical conductors are there, with a different radius and the different capacitance, to charge having some different charges here. After redistribution of charges, up to what extent the redistribution charges will take place until potential for the both will be same. So let the common potential for this is V. So now here we have derived expression here, because the new charge, amount of charge depends upon the capacitance. So Q dash is proportional to C. So Q1 proportional to Q1 dash proportional to C1, Q2 dash proportional to C2. So finding the ratio of this Q1 dash by Q2 dash is equal to C1 by C2. Already from this we came to know C is directly proportional to the radius. Capacitance is directly proportional to the radius. C1 by C2 is equal to R1 by R2. Taking it here, we are getting a common expression here. Q1 dash by Q2 dash is equal to C1 by C2 is equal to R1 by R2. And to find the new charge on this body here, the Q1 dash is C1 by C1 plus C1 by C1 plus C2 into net charge. And Q2 dash is C2 by C1 plus C2 net charge. This is in the form of, if you want the expression in the form of capacitance. If you want to write it in the form of radius, Q1 dash is equal to R1 plus R2 into net charge, or Q2 dash is equal to R1 plus net charge. After understanding this concept, now you can do the problem here very easily here. So a numerical is given here. Two spherical conductors have radii 5 cm and 10 cm, and take this as the R1 and this as the R2. They have a charge of 12 microcoulomb and minus 3 microcoulomb. So this is Q1 and this is Q2. Find the charges after they have connected by a conducting wire. So that means the process that has taken place is redistribution of charges. Find the common potential of redistribution. That means after redistribution, what is the new charges on the body? What is Q1 dash and Q2 dash? And what is the common potential? Use the formula here. Q1 dash is C1 by C1 plus C2 into net charge, or you can use R1 by R1 plus R2 into net charge, whatever formula we want to, because here only, look here, in this problem we are not going with the capacitance, we are going with the charges. So certainly we have to go with the Q1 dash is equal to R1 by R1 plus R2 into net charge, and Q2 dash is equal to R2 by R1 plus R2 into net charge. So using this formula we can find, and here we get answer for this as 3 microcoulomb, and we get this as 6 microcoulomb. So now 5, this is 12 microcoulomb, change it to 3 microcoulomb, and minus 3 microcoulomb change it to 6 microcoulomb. Like that we are going to give, we got this amount of charge. And for finding the common potential V, we can use the formula. It is Q1 plus Q2. Q1 plus Q2 means, not, don't take this as the Q1 and Q2. This is your Q1 and this is your Q2. And it is C1 plus C2. So we can find the C1 here by using the formula V is equal to Q by C. Either you can go over that here or there and find that capacitance and you substitute it here and you get the answer as 5.4 into 10 to the power of 5 volts. Okay. So this is the concept and that is an example for the application. Okay. So here remember the concept here. After redistribution, the potential remains same. And after redistribution, the charge depends upon the capacitance. So Q1 dash is proportional to C1. Q2 dash proportional to C2. And already we know that the capacitance depends upon the radius or the dimension here. So C1 is proportional to R1, C2 is proportional to R2. Using that we got this expression, and these are the expressions here. Now see you in the next session. Pause the video and take the screenshot.